It may seem unbelievable, but there are many accounts of people rising from their graves. Enough, certainly, to warrant investigation into the possibility that it might be possible. In the saga-rich history of Iceland, few tales of the risen dead, often called revenants, are as chilling and evocative as that of Thorolf Hallfut, a powerful chieftain whose death brought not peace but terror to his homeland. This story, detailed in the Eyrbyggja saga, provides a striking account of a revenant, a reanimated corpse, whose malevolent spirit haunted the living, leaving an indelible mark on Icelandic folklore. Thorolf Hallfut was a formidable figure, known for his strength, wealth, and temper. His influence stretched across the lands, and his personality commanded both respect and fear. As he aged, his temperament only grew harsher, and when death finally claimed him, it seemed that not even the grave could contain his wrath. After Thorolf's death, he was buried in a mound on his estate in Vom. However, rather than bringing closure, his burial marked the beginning of a series of terrifying events. Livestock began to die mysteriously, crops failed, and an eerie sense of dread permeated the area. Night after night, Thorolf was seen walking around his burial mound, his ghostly figure with glowing eyes striking fear into the hearts of those who glimpsed him. The situation worsened as Thorolf's restless spirit, now a Draugr, a Norse revenant, began to physically assault and kill those who came near his grave. His violent hauntings created chaos, driving some villagers to abandon their homes in desperation. In an effort to end the terror, Thorolf's son, Arnkell, decided to intervene. Gathering a group of men, Arnkell exhumed Thorolf's body. To their horror, they found it remarkably well preserved, an indication of his transformation into a Draugr. Following the local traditions meant to pacify such spirits, they reburied Thorolf in a new location, hoping this would lay his spirit to rest. Despite these efforts, the hauntings did not cease. Determined to rid his land of his father's malevolent spirit once and for all, Arnkell exhumed Thorolf again, moved his body to an even more remote location, and took additional measures to prevent any further return. The saga suggests that these drastic actions finally quelled Thorolf's unrest, allowing the community to return to some semblance of normalcy. The tale of Thorolf Hallfut serves as a compelling example of the Norse belief in revenants and the power of the dead to influence the living. Although steeped in folklore, it is clear the Norse people of days gone by believed that revenants could rise from their grave, and so this tale was taken as recorded fact, whether we choose to believe it nowadays or not. The idea does sound fantastical, granted, but it is certainly given a lot more credence as a possible phenomenon, because it is far from unique to Icelandic folklore. Stories of revenants appear across various cultures worldwide, each with its unique interpretations and rituals. There are endless first-hand accounts of seemingly real-life revenants. Here's a wide selection of some more modern first-hand accounts of revenants from all over the world. In Western Europe, we find the tale of the Berwick vampire in 12th century Scotland. Chronicled by William of Newburgh, this story tells of a wealthy man who, after his death, began appearing at night, spreading plague and fear. His body was exhumed and found bloated and bloody. The locals decapitated and burned the body, similar to the actions taken in the Thorolf saga, reflecting a widespread fear of the undead and their potential to harm the living. In Greece, the Vrykolakas is a revenant that returns from the dead to haunt the living. In early 18th century Mykonos, reports told of a man who, after his death, was seen wandering the village, causing disturbances. Multiple exhumations of his undecayed body led to its final destruction by fire, illustrating the Greek method of dealing with such undead threats, akin to the Norse traditions. Moving on to Eastern Europe, the vampire legends share similarities with the Draugr. For example, in 18th century Serbia, the case of Peter Plogojewicz stands out. After his death, villagers reported seeing him at night, causing several mysterious deaths. When his body was exhumed, it was found undecomposed with fresh blood at his mouth. The villagers drove a stake through his heart and burned the body, a ritual aimed at preventing his return, mirroring the fear and measures taken against Draugr like Thorolf. In China, the Jiangshi, or hopping vampire, is a reanimated corpse that drains life force from the living. Stories from the Qing dynasty describe these creatures as stiff, hopping beings that attack the living. Rituals involving mirrors, peach wood, and Taoist talismans are employed to counter them, reflecting a different cultural approach to similar supernatural phenomena. Yuan Mei, an 18th century Qing dynasty scholar, documented numerous supernatural stories in his work, Zibuyu. One such account tells of a jiangshi that was subdued by a Taoist priest using a combination of rituals and talismans. This priest reportedly used a mirror to confront the jiangshi and then applied a peach wood sword and a Taoist talisman to finally neutralize the threat. In India, the Vetala is a spirit inhabiting corpses, known for haunting cemeteries and possessing supernatural powers. Tales from the Vetala Panchavimshati describe these beings leaving their host bodies at will and causing havoc, reflecting the Indian belief in powerful, restless spirits of the dead. The Vetala Panchavimshati, also known as the Baital Pachiza, is a collection of 25 tales of a Vetala narrated by a spirit to King Vikramaditya. In these stories, the Vetala is depicted as a cunning and malevolent spirit that inhabits corpses, leaves them at will, and possesses supernatural powers. One prominent tale describes how King Vikramaditya encounters a Vetala hanging from a tree in a cemetery, possessing a dead body. These diverse stories from around the world share common themes with the saga of Thorolf Foot, the fear of the dead returning to life, the impact of these revenants on the living, and the various cultural rituals developed to deal with such threats. Whether in the cold mountains of Iceland, the dark forests of Eastern Europe, the rural villages of Greece, the ancient cemeteries of India, or the folklore-rich landscapes of China, the belief in revenants and their malevolent potential is a powerful and enduring aspect of human culture. The seemingly endless supply of tales of the risen dead, together with this being a common account given by people around the world, at least compels us to consider the possibility there is some truth to it. Even more, though, through these tales, we see a universal human fear of the dead and a shared desire to understand and mitigate their influence, reminding us of the thin veil between life and death and the mysteries that lie beyond. That just about wraps up tonight's tale from Lorehound. Follow us as we sniff out more of history's most interesting stories.
As the hound dog entered the dimly lit library, he sensed an aura of mystery surrounding the ancient scrolls. The dusty shelves towered above him as he sniffed his way through the labyrinth of books. Suddenly, he picked up a scent and followed it to a secluded corner. With bated breath, he approached the shelf and pawed at the book, revealing the hidden scroll. As he rolled it out, he knew he had discovered a treasure worth protecting at all costs.